Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Q8 pilot stream. It is 1700 Zulu, 2000 hours local time here in Kuwait City, Kuwait. The temperatures are dropping here in Kuwait, and it is freezing cold for a change. Want to welcome all of you guys here in chat. We have with us today Rand, Cooley, Sorik, Alex, Asim, Sven. Welcome, Sven. Good evening to you, my friend. Drishal, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Fly, Bry, welcome aboard, and the Gigalyots, welcome aboard, everyone. Glad to have you here. And today, ladies and gents, we are going to be taking a look at the Take Command TorqueSim CitationJet 525, which was recently released. Now, I have been a big fan of everything TorqueSim since they started development. I remember flying their pocket rocket, their Cirrus SR-22 and SR-20, the BN-2 Islander. They are a great small team of developers creating very high fidelity aircraft. And I will tell you right off the bat that this aircraft is no exception to the high fidelity, both in terms of the visuals and the flight model and the depth of system simulation that it offers. Now, this add-on is available at the Aviation store, and it sells for $85, $84.95. In this stream, we are going to be taking a look at all the aircraft features, visuals, systems. We're going to be taking it for a short flight from Newcastle Airport in the United Kingdom to Glasgow in Scotland. A short flight, but it should be sufficient to expose all the aircraft systems and features, and we're going to be talking about the pricing as well. And I'm going to be telling you all about the aircraft and what it comes, what ships with the aircraft. Now, a quick word before we begin: the standards have changed since 2-3 years ago, and we're going to be that's going to be basis for what we're going to do. So we're applying very new standards. Flight sim, the hobby itself, has developed extensively over the past few years, and we are going to be taking a look, or I'm going to be sharing with you my opinion, my honest, unbiased opinion about the this add-on for X-Plane 12. So, as usual, we're going to begin with the visual modeling. And as you can see, the visuals of this CitationJet by TorqueSim is nothing short of spectacular. Really stellar textures inside and out. And by the way, the aircraft ships with both 4K and 8K textures. I didn't really notice that much of a difference on the 8K version. That's simply because I am running a 2K monitor, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. But what you'll notice is every little spot that you take a look at, you'll see that you have all the rivets here, the bolts, the texturing is just really of the highest order. I want to show you something just so that you can appreciate, how. Let me just switch to. Yeah. Oops, what did I do? All right, let me switch there. Did I switch to? All right, I think I turned off. There we go. All right. So I want to take you down here to the landing gear area, and I want to show you how detailed this model is. If you follow these little hoses and pipes, you'll see that everything is they've actually taken the time to model exactly where all these wires and pipes and hoses connect. And they've done it in style where everything is, they use PBR, of course, to give the aircraft a very realistic look. Look at this amount of detail. You can also appreciate the text here on the landing gear. Look at that. I mean, really, really, they've taken their time to develop an aircraft that is visually stunning. Everything really has been done with a lot of care and a lot of finesse. Again, if you look here at the covers, look at the strobe lights here. Look at that. Look at the details. I love this amount of detail, and you can see this all around the aircraft, which is really, really commendable. Now, I'd like to. All right. So now, one of the nice things that you'll also find when you start, playing with this aircraft is that you can open the compartments, and they are also nicely modeled. Look at that. Again, you can see here the gauges. You have the gear and brake, emergency, pneumatic pressure, windshield, alcohol, power brake, accumulator charge. You can see, and all of this is functional brake fluid, so you can check all that information. You can open the other cover as well here on this side, which serves as front cargo. Let's see, where's the click spot? There we go. So this is just really a forward cargo area that you can use to put in some load into the aircraft. Another thing that you'll also like is they've actually modeled everything that's on the Citation here. So this is something I think a lot of you will appreciate, that you can actually open the doors for the cargo. You can put the bags, load the bags, and they've also modeled the, I believe this is where the APU battery, hydraulic pressure. All right. So this is actually also modeled here. See, the hydraulics are modeled. You can see, again, very, very nicely done texture-wise. Again, notice the rivets and the bolts here. You can also, let me close this here real quick. And if we look here at the wing, look at this wing here, both from the top and the bottom. Again, very, very nicely done by TorqueSim. Here again, as we zoom in, the fuel caps, jet fuel only. Again, very, very nicely done. Very realistic, very authentic. And here's the under the wing area. As you can see here, everything is modeled very, very nicely. Okay, so very quickly here, we can also, let's go ahead and close the, there we go, we close those cargo doors. And what you can do is you can actually open the door from the outside, so you can actually complete a full walk around with the aircraft just by coming here to the door. And if we click here to open the door, right, so we open the door and then we click here, and now you can open the door, and we click here for the stairs, and there you have it. You have the stairs now, and the door is now open. I'm going to go ahead and close the cargo door here in the back. Visually, I really cannot fault this aircraft. It is just amazing in terms of the visuals. Let's go ahead and hop into the cockpit and take a look at the inside. Hello, we have with us Juan Farah. I hope I said that correctly. Welcome aboard. Andre M, welcome aboard. Good evening to you, my friend. Burger Props, welcome aboard. It is freezing in Kuwait, Alex. Yes, it is. All right. So let's hop into the cockpit here, and we can see here this is a very authentic looking cockpit. I've interrogated real-world photos of the CitationJet, and this is a authentic representation of the aircraft. You love the details there on the textures. You can see here some really fine details to give this panel a realistic look. The gauges, you can see there's a little bit of wear and tear as well there. The switches and the sounds are just phenomenal. If we click here, listen to that. Let me increase the volume here maybe a little bit. I'm not sure if that is... No, I think I turned it down. All right, let's... All right, that way you guys can hear it. There we go. That's much better. Again, you can see here the knobs, the switches. Everything really is done to perfection in terms of the visual modeling of the aircraft. Here you can see, and then you have the yokes there. Look at that. Look at those yokes. They're just beautiful. Now, I think we have the control lock, and so I need to remove that. So, yeah. Let's take a look at the passenger cabin. Let me just come to this side here. All right. So if you look here, you'll see the oxygen masks. Again, look at how detailed those are. Look at that. Very, very nicely done by TorqueSim. And the passenger cabin is where we're going to go next here. And the passenger cabin is just lovely. Very, very nicely done by TorqueSim. Here, as you can see, you can actually, these are interactive, so you can close them. You can hear the sounds. You can stow the tables there. You can hear, again, very nice sounds, very high fidelity representation of the aircraft. You can lower the armrests here as well. And you can do, of course, the same thing here. And there are some refreshments aboard this aircraft for your, very rich clients there. As you can see, we have some diet jet fuel. Hey, Alex just came in with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Alex. Guys, if you've received a gifted membership from Alex, please be sure to say thank you. I'm sorry, guys, today I've turned off the alerts so that it does not interfere with the review. But Alex, thank you very, very much for the gifted memberships. Guys, please be sure to say thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you for your support, Alex. All right, so you've got your, refreshments here aboard the aircraft. Again, very nice detail. Look at the carpeting, and we can see here the oxygen tank here. Really very nicely done. Armrests, again, you can move them, and you can hear the sounds. Very nicely done. The leather is done quite nicely. A use of PBR materials is done very well on the aircraft. All right, let's go ahead and close the door. Let's pull the stairs, and I want you to notice, you see how the chain is actually moving as we pull the stairs up, and the same thing happens when you close the door. Look at that. That little animation there, that detail is so nice. I love those details. All right, let's lock the door, and we can see the red here. The door is now secure. We'll assume that our passengers are on board the aircraft. Okay. Next thing up, we are going to take a look at the main menu. So the Citation has a main menu here that helps you with the equipment. As you can see, we have all the equipment here checked. And by the way, it uses the state of the aircraft is persistent. So if you leave any switch on and you come to the aircraft the next day, you'll find that that switch is exactly in the position that you left it. And this forces you to really shut down the aircraft properly once you are at the, at your destination. I would have loved to see a little bit more involved control panel to help with the operation of the aircraft. Some things are very intuitive, things like changing the state of the aircraft to cold and dark, for example. This is missing, and for an add-on that costs this much, this is, in my view, a must. Another thing that is missing is the performance calculation. Now, it is available in the normal procedures checklist where you can perform the performance calculations yourself. But again, for an add-on at this price point, I would expect to, and that is something that is in the making. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. But I expect it to be available on day one on the release. So we are going to remove the chocks and the cones, engine covers, windscreen cover, pitot covers, and the angle of attack probe cover, which is on the right side of the aircraft. Avionics, we're using standards, but it ships with the GNS 530, the GTN 750 by Reality XP, and I think TDS. I think this is the very first aircraft that features the TDS Garmin device. VFR transponder. So you can refill your oxygen and charge your main battery here from within this control panel. Another thing that you'll see is the weight and balance. Now, I've had everything, as you can see here, is in pounds. We're flying in the UK, so we need everything to be in kilos. So what I've done is I've set up the weight and balance from the default weight and balance menu of X-Plane in order to have the right cargo and everything in kilograms. Now, incidentally, the INS, which is right here, or I beg your pardon, the UNS, not the INS. The UNS, it shows all the figures in kilograms, which is convenient. So that works. So everything here is already set up for our flight. So we can close that. And then we can come to the tail number, which is something that you can do. You can enter your desired tail number and then press set. This process takes 30 seconds. We're fine with our current tail number. Then you can, of course, pop up. You have the pop-ups here, so you can pop up all the equipment from within the panel here, or by clicking on the instrument. So if I click here, you'll see everything pops out, as well as the UNS device. That is very helpful when you're flying, because sometimes some buttons and some switches are in awkward positions, especially the autopilot button here and the yaw damper. So that can get into the way. The UNS is, again, you can set this for pause before top of descent. Highly unrealistic, but it is available for you. Now, in terms of the documentation, I have found that the documentation is also lacking, but it says, if you click here, that additional documentation is coming soon. So more is being added. See below for the latest. So we have the normal procedures document, which we will be using today for our flight, and the UNS handbook as well. I'm quite, accustomed to using the UNS, especially if you're flying the Dash 8 Q400, then, that is available. But nothing other than that. I think there was one document for the installation in the aircraft folder. But again, in terms of documentation, I found it to be a little bit lacking. So that was a bit, not a big deal, because whatever you have here is sufficient to help you fly the aircraft. But I felt that it was a little bit lacking. Now, one nice thing that they've included is the performance profiles. So if you like to fly on SimBrief or ForeFlight, you have both the SimBrief profile, which I have used personally for the aircraft, and ForeFlight as well if you're using ForeFlight. So those are available. All you need to do is click on this link and say save airframe, and then the SimBrief profile for the Citation 525 will be available in your SimBrief. Now, this is very important, features in development. So let's take a quick look at that before we begin our flight. So all of these features are in progress. The weather radar, you can see it is inoperative right now. More system diagrams, ground power unit, the TDS GTN integration, performance calculator, and flight-based damage. Now, again, things have changed, guys, and the standards have changed. When you charge $85 for an add-on, I expect a complete maintenance module, and I expect an advanced EFB, sufficient documentation, a performance calculator. If I am to compare, for example, the Phoenix, which is, not apples to apples, but if I look at the Phoenix Airbus, and the amount of fidelity in that aircraft, it costs a lot less than this aircraft, which is, again, it's not comparing apples to apples. This aircraft is a very sophisticated aircraft, and maybe back, if this aircraft was out in X-Plane 2 years ago, I would agree that the price is justified. However, in my view, and my experience with add-ons over the last 9 years, and where we are today in terms of flight sim and the add-ons and the fidelity that we have been seeing, I would say that the aircraft is definitely overpriced. This add-on is overpriced for what it delivers. And again, nothing wrong with the aircraft. It is high fidelity, it's very complex, very in-depth. Flight model is excellent, which we're going to be seeing in a minute here. But just the lack of documentation, which the developer promises that it will be there, the lack of a proper performance calculator, a maintenance module, a failures module is again, very important to have in an add-on that costs this much. This is my honest opinion, guys. Of course, you don't have to agree with me, but there he goes. There goes my idea to tease Q8 by ringing the bell all the time. Nice. And there, Alex. Appreciate it, my friend. When I was a broker, I chartered GKON from... Oh, how cool is that? Oh, that's really, really cool. Thanks for sharing that with us. Redneck, welcome aboard. How are you doing, my friend? Good, very good morning to you, sir. I am loving the aircraft. I'm loving the aircraft. It's just that the price point of the aircraft makes it, first of all, unavailable to a lot of people that can't afford it. And then the lack of a proper EFB, a performance calculator, documentation, all of that, I think adds to the fact that you, at this time and day, you cannot charge this much for an add-on that does not have all of the stuff that we've mentioned. So, so here we go. What is, that's the weather radar. That's what's inoperative right now. All right. So, folks, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be following the checklist that ships with the aircraft, and we're going to begin with the cockpit inspection. By the way, all the circuit breakers aboard this aircraft are modeled and are functional. Listen to those really beautiful sounds. So everything here is modeled. The only thing, this is something that is work in progress. So they are developing the weather radar, and it should come in due course. All right. So visually, though, I really can't get over how beautiful the texturing is of this aircraft. And remember, guys, by X-Plane standards, this is just really top-notch. They've really done a great job on the texturing. All right, so we're going to begin with the cockpit inspection. Oxygen control valve is located right here and should be on normal, which it is now. Oxygen masks are located right here. They are stowed, and that is checked. Next is the circuit breakers. All the circuit breakers are in, as you can see here, and we have some circuit breakers on this side. So for now, if you wanted to simulate failures, you can do so by clicking one of these and just, you know, deal with the situation. You can like fail a lot of them, and if you want that extra challenge. By the way, you can open these little, I'm not sure what those are, ashtrays, or looks like an ashtray to me. All right. Next up, the standby gyro switch. So let's remove the yoke here. Standby gyro switch is all right. So we need to test that. The gyro switch is located down here. So down to test, we check the green light, and then up we see the red lights. So that checks okay. And next, the standby gyro should be on amber light, okay? And then the battery switch. All right, so the battery switch is right here. We're gonna, ooh, listen to those sounds. You gotta love those sounds, guys. I mean, the sounds are really very well done on this aircraft. Right, battery is on. Battery voltage, we want more than about 24 volts, which we have here on the DC volts, as you can see, so that's checked. And then avionics power is on. Avionics power is on. HS clearance checked, so we'll assume that we've checked the HS clearance. Next, we're going to perform the rotary test switch. Here, engine fire warning. You can see that here, and we have the engine fire illuminated. Landing gear test. Battery temperature. Angle of attack. There's your stick shaker test. Spare. WS temperature. This is inop, so I suppose that this is going to do something later. Overspeed. Anti-skid. Annunciators. All checked. We can see here all the annunciators, and then to the off position. Radar is off or standby. We currently don't have it, so we'll just leave this alone. It is currently off, so we'll leave it off for the duration of the flight today. Next up, we're going to check the emergency battery switch. So we're going to switch this to emergency. Right, and we're just going to check the instruments. All right, everything here checks okay. Our instruments are good. Excellent. And then the battery switch to battery. So we'll bring this back to battery. Avionics power off. Generators should be on gen or off. They are currently in the off position. We'll leave them there. Fuel boost pumps are normal. So the fuel boost pumps are located right here. They are both in the normal position. Fuel transfer is off right there. Check. The LH gyro slave on auto, right there, which it is on auto, and the LH is right there. Okay, parking brake is set right there. Again, check out the sounds, beautiful sounds. Windshield bleed air manual valves are off. Okay, so those are off. Control lock is unlocked. The landing gear handle is down. Landing gear lights, 3 greens. Anti-skid switch. The anti-skid switch is located somewhere here. Anti-skid is on. The standby gyro caging knob is right here. So push to uncage, pull to cage. So it is uncaged now. Engine instrument warning indicator. No flags. Let's cancel the master caution there. All right. Air conditioner is off. The air conditioning system is right here. Just Aviation, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Boeing Corp Mike, welcome aboard from Logan, New Jersey. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Hello, Mark Edwards. Welcome aboard. Maybe out before Christmas. That would be great. Yeah. All right. Next up, the air source selector knob is on both. The RH gyro is slaved. Throttles are off. Thrust attenuator switch is on auto, which is this switch is located right here. And it is currently on auto right there. That's the attenuator switch. It is currently on auto. Engine synchronizer is off. It's right there. This little black knob here. All other switches are off or normal. External power is connected if applicable. We're not using external power, so that's something that is work in progress. And then the cockpit inspection is now complete. Okay, so we are done with the cockpit inspection now, and next we are going to go to the before start checklist. Pre-flight inspection is complete. The wheel chocks are removed. The cabin door is closed and locked. Passenger briefing. Now, here is a really nice feature in the CitationJet. If you click, this here is the passenger system. So if I click on, you'll see that we have welcome, and you can select the languages. So this is French, this is German, and this is probably Spanish. I'm not sure, but we're going to go to English, obviously, and we're going to click play.
Welcome aboard this CitationJet. We're delighted to have you with us on our flight. Please make yourself comfortable and securely stow any personal items. When you are ready, kindly fasten your seatbelt. Thank you for choosing to fly with us today.
All right, so this is really cool, and you can actually do the passenger announcements throughout the flight. So this is welcome now, and we're good. Okay, so passenger briefing is now complete. Seatbelt signs and shoulder harness adjust and secure. Fuel quantity, we've checked that already. Flashing beacon light. The beacon light is right here. So we turn that on. Air conditioning is off. Now, to start the engine is actually very, very simple. All you need to do to start the engines is to click the start button here for the right engine, and then we're going to monitor the throttles. We'll take them to idle at N2 above or equal to 8%. That's when we're going to turn it on. So let's go ahead and turn on the engine. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and start with the right engine. All right, and where's my arrow? There we go. Check out those sounds, guys. Right, ITT is normal. Very nice indeed. All right, now we can start with the left engine. All right, 8%. Check out those beautiful sounds. Very, very nice. Just lovely sounds. All right, let's continue with our checklist here. ITT is checked for rise. We've done that. The engine instruments are normal. Fuel, oil, generator, and hydraulic annunciators are extinguished. Then we've done... All right, so now we're going to go to the generators, and we're going to put the generators on gen. So that is actually... Let me reset that. And I'm going to reset the right engine as well. All right, so we can see the DC amps for both engines and the DC volts. DC amps and volts are checked, and we are good. Okay. Now, the before taxi checklist is where we start actually the avionics and start putting in our flight plan. So the first thing we're going to do, the air conditioning. So before taxi checklist, air conditioning, fans, and temperature control. We're just going to put this on auto, and we'll leave everything else. We're not going to touch anything else. We'll just leave it there on auto. The lights are as required. We currently don't need the lights. Maybe we'll change the lights later on so that you can see the night lighting. Look at the details, guys, here on the screen. You see those little lines coming there? Again, really very, very fine details there. All right, avionics power switch is on. All right, avionics are coming up. And then AC inverter switch. Now, you can either put it on inverter 2 or 1. We're going to put it on AC inverter 1. Passenger advisory switch to passenger safety. There we go. And pressurization on auto. So first, let's we're going to go here. The current altitude here is already set, so we don't really need to do anything there. Electric elevator trim is checked and set. The flaps, we're going to set those for takeoff. Right, there we go. Flaps are set. Flight controls are free and correct. Thrust attenuators are on auto. ADDONS clearance, FMS, GPS, and charts. Those now we need to check. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to power up our UNS device here. Let me bring this up here so you guys can follow along. And let's see here. All right, I'll make this bigger here so you guys can follow along. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to bring our Navigraph charts. And here's our flight for the day today as we depart from Newcastle Airport in the United Kingdom, heading over to Glasgow in Scotland. Okay, we're going to go and say accept. Now, first thing first is we are going to go to the fuel, and there are two ways that you can enter the fuel. Either enter the passenger, the cargo, and the fuel, or skip passenger cargo and just put the zero fuel and the fuel on board. Now, to do this, we are going to consult our plan here because I've just copied everything from here into Explain. So the zero fuel weight is 4218. So we click here and 4218 and enter that. And the fuel on board is, let's go here. Fuel is 868 kilos. So 868 kilos of fuel, and we're going to enter that. That's our gross weight. And depending on the gross weight is your performance data. So according to this, we are going to be taking off today. The V1 is 99, V rotate is 100, and V2 is 109. And the minimum takeoff is going to be 95.9. All right, so Let me just put this down here. Let me show you this here. So we're going to set this here 95.9. Yeah, that's close enough. 95 is perfectly fine. Okay. All right. So now that we're through with this, we can go ahead and... Hi, Niels. How are you doing, my friend? Glad to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Just realized the toilet flushes in the seat in the back. All right. So we're going to go now to our flight plan. So this is Newcastle, Echo Golf November Tango. And we are going to, it's a short flight. Let's see here. All right, so we're going to be departing runway 07 and direct to native. So first, let's go ahead and select menu and the departure. We're departing runway 17, so we're going to select number 1 and we're going to enter that. There is no SID, so just enter flight plan. Doesn't really change anything, but I just wanted to show you guys how you select the departure. Next up, we're going to fly direct to native and enter that, accept, and then from native we are going to be taking airway Yankee 96. So to do this, we are going to come here and we're going to select list, then select the airways, and this, no, you want airways, where's the airways? Why is it not? Oh, come on. All right, flight plan. All right, put a gap there, so let's delete that. All right, let's just go here and say list and go to the airway. All right, so it didn't like the, okay, that's fine. All right, let's go next, and Yankee 96 is number 3. So we're going to select that and enter, and then we're going to exit at AGPED, which is number 1. All right, so that's number 1, and enter that. And then we are going to, okay, so it's the arrival into Glasgow. So Echo Golf Papa Foxtrot, Echo Golf Papa Foxtrot, and enter that, accept, and then we're going to go to the menu and select the arrival. The arrival is going to be runway 23. So number 2, and the star is the APED 1 Golf. APED 1 Golf. I don't see it. APED. It's the first one there. APED 1 Golf. Okay, so number 1. Enter that. No transition. The approach is the ILS. Runway 23. So number 2. Enter that. And now we have 2 transitions. The Golf Lima Whiskey and Golf Oscar Whiskey. If we take a quick look at our flight plan and go to the approach, let's go, that's Glasgow. And we look at the ILS DME for runway 23. Let's go ahead and click that real quick. All right. So if you look here, you'll find that you have both fixes. We can actually select the number 1. We'll select number 1, Golf Lima Whiskey. Or actually, we can do it without a transition, but, you know, never mind. We'll just select Golf Lima Whiskey, which is number 1. So we'll enter number 1 here and enter that, and then flight plan. Now, if we go next, we want to make sure from Lanark there is a disco. So we're going to delete that one. All right. And then it's going to be, this is the center fix for runway 23. And then the center fix, the final fix, and then runway 23 at Glasgow. The final cruise altitude today for this flight is going to be, I believe, 14,000 feet. Yes, 14,000. So to do this, let me put this away here for a second. All right, so to do this, this is the alt select. So I'm just going to click here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me move the UNS. All right, and this is our altitude selector. As you can see now, this is changing to 14,000 feet. All right, 14,000 is now set. And we are good. Excellent. Next up, we're going to click here on FMS. FMS1 is what we have there. We're going to say full map. So now we can see our map. And this is, if you click here on the map range, you can toggle the map range. So we are going to select this one here. Let's see, 12, I think 2.5, that's the one. So we're going to have to make a turn to come to native because we are going to, yeah, we're going to fly in the opposite direction for the runway. All right. Okay. So everything here looks good. Well, let's set this on flight plan. So we're going to come here and say flight plan. There we go. And that is now set. Excellent. So continuing with our checklist, we're going to say takeoff data is now confirmed. The RH attitude, pull to cage knob. All right. So that's done. And we are pretty much ready to taxi. The taxi is brakes, flight instrument check, and crew briefing. So we'll actually do this now. And we can actually request, we didn't request the pushback. So let's see if it will allow us to...
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
All right, let's see if it allows us to...
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
All right, they will tow us with the engines running, so that's cool. The Flying Scotsman, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome, good evening to you. Hello, Mr. Kerman, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Raul Rodriguez, good afternoon, my friend. How did you calculate your V1 VR speeds? Oh, so, sorry, let me show you very quickly here in SimBrief. If you go to SimBrief and you go to takeoff, so I've calculated this already for the flight. So 95 V1, 100 V rotate, and 109 for V2. Right now, there is no performance calculator that ships with the aircraft, so you're just going to have to rely
all
on...
doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
You're going to have to rely on... right, parking brake is... Right, there we go. Parking brake is set. Yeah. All right. Tell you what, guys. Let's stop the pushback. Do we have any of the... I think that goes with the... all right. So it looks like we're just going to have to work our way out of the position. I forgot all about the pushback. So we started the engines, and it thinks that the brakes aren't set. So, all right. So cool, we're okay. One more thing we need to do is we need to set the altimeters. So let's do that very quickly here. Let's take a look at the weather. The current altimeter is 1008. So let's set that, 1008. Right, 1008 is set. And we'll do the same thing here, 1008. The sounds are just really phenomenal. All right, 1008. Okay, so everything here is checked, and we're just going to come here and safety. We'll play the safety. Let's go ahead and play that.
Before we depart, please take a moment to review the safety features of this aircraft. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle.
All right,
and tighten
taxi
by
lights.
pulling on the loose end. In the event of a loss
On.
of cabin pressure, don your oxygen mask. Pull the mask towards you, place it
And
over
off
your
we
nose
go.
and mouth, and secure it with the elastic band. Breathe normally. Please locate the nearest emergency exit, keeping in mind that it may be behind you.
Why is it not moving? Yeah, looks like there is a chalk there. Yeah, we forgot something there. There we go. All right. Yeah, we forgot to push back, and then we had the engine started, so that's all right. Okay. We're just going to go under the wing of this 737. All right. Just really beautiful looking aircraft. Look at that. Look at the taxi lights there. All right. Lovely day. Lovely clouds. Looks like the plane dodging thunderstorms. All right. All right, we're going to make a stop here for the hold short point for runway 07. So let me stop the aircraft here and set the parking brake. And let's do the before takeoff checklist. NTI systems are checked. Passenger seats checked. Cockpit air distance knob as required. Air source selector knob is set on both. The flaps are set for takeoff. The trim is set for takeoff. The thrust attenuator switch is auto, ignition on. So these are the ignition switches, and they are set to on. When cleared and ready for takeoff, pitot static heat switch is on, which is right here. The transponder, now the transponder is right here, so we're going to set this to alt on both units. Excellent. Anti-collision light is right here, and this is basically your strobe lights. Radar we don't have, so still inoperative, so we'll just ignore that. And the annunciator panel we'll check, and we don't have any warning signs there, so we are now ready to go. Now for takeoff, what you'll do is you hold the brakes, you're going to set the power to 95%, and then we will release the brakes and we will rotate at 100 knots according to the performance data. All right, perfect. Here we go. What a lovely looking aircraft. They really nailed the modeling on this CitationJet. All right. Right, everything is looking good here. Right, let's hold the brakes and power to 95%. There we go. And one. Come on, throttle, stay. All right, that's close enough. Release the parking brakes. Airspeed alive. V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb, gear is going up. All right, 180, flaps up. Engine synchronizer is on. Yaw damper on. Let's begin our turn to intercept the flight path. Just lovely. Beautiful. Right, we are at about 180 knots. So we are going to engage the autopilot. And IAS. Nav. All right. Perfect. And the climb checklist throttle set here. All right, so landing gear is up, flaps are up, ignition back to normal. Let me reduce the sounds here in the cockpit. Yeah, that's better. Next is climb power is set, engine synchronizer is on, yaw damper is on, passenger advisory switch as required, anti-ice systems, landing or recognition lights are off. We'll do that once we are at 6,000. All right, we are at 6,000 feet, standard barrow set. Pressurization is checked. Oxygen control valve on normal. Cabin altitude lower than 12 feet, which it is. All right, and the climb checklist is now complete. Now I can talk to you guys a little bit more and answer more of your questions. The sun and the night, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard. Jan Nissen, hey, how are you, my friend? Thank you very much for the support. Appreciate it. Flight Studios MX, welcome aboard. Colin M, welcome aboard. Always happy to wait for a Q8 video before picking up a new aircraft. This does look like a great plane from TorqueSim. It is definitely a very, very well-developed aircraft by TorqueSim. I wish they would consider their pricing, though, considering the aircraft is still... it's still in need of some documentation, an electronic flight bag, a failures module, a performance calculator, which is in the making. The weather radar is also in the making. So I'm sure that, by the way, we forgot to do, there is a one here for cabin crew. Right, we're approaching 10,000 feet. So landing lights off. There we go, 10,000. And everything else is looking pretty good. That is a spectacular view of a spectacular aircraft. Martin, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard. A general question, are you preferring X-Plane 12 over FS 2024 in its current state, or are you still fairly agnostic? To be very, very honest with you, I am favoring X-Plane 12 over 2024. 2024 still needs a lot of work before it is mature. So, yeah, at this point, I am pretty much favoring X-Plane. Right, we continue our climb. And we're going to be going to 14,000 feet. That's our final cruise altitude today for the flight. Right, 1,000 feet to go. And if the cockpit sounds are still too loud for you guys, just let me know. So, all in all, this is a very, very good aircraft. From the visual perspective, I really cannot fault it. From the sounds perspective, I cannot fault it. The depth of system simulation is, again, something I cannot fault. Everything is really done to perfection. My only contention, as I've mentioned in the beginning, is with the price of the aircraft. I think for one, it makes it inaccessible for many folks out there. All right, so now that we are at, so this aircraft does not have an auto throttle, so we need to set cruise power. All right, so we're going to bring the throttles back a little bit here. All right, we are at exactly 14,000 feet. Let's go ahead and tell our passengers. So we're going to come here and turn off the passenger safety, and we're going to go to cruise and play that. All right, so here we are. Cruise thrust is set, and we'll continue at about 220 knots. We can go a bit higher, but that's fine. We'll just leave it there. So yeah, so on the price, it makes the aircraft inaccessible to many in the community. For one, it is definitely a high fidelity aircraft. I would have actually said that the price was okay if this development was done about 2 years ago. But in today's standards, I think there are some things that are missing that we've mentioned at the beginning of the stream. And so I think it makes the price a little bit on the expensive side. I really, really hope that they would reconsider. Now, I'm, of course, speaking from the perspective of flight simmers, and that's who I represent when I do these streams. One very important thing to note, folks, is that the developer, TorqueSim, is using Aviation to distribute the aircraft. So there is a revenue sharing model between the two. So maybe, just maybe, and I'm thinking in the top of my head, maybe TorqueSim said, yeah, $60 is a fair price for the, or $65 is a fair price for this aircraft, which I think it is, by the way. But then that would eat up from their, margins. And so they add maybe another 20, and that's the cut for Aviation. Probably that's how it works. I'm not exactly sure if that's how it works, but I would assume that that's how it works. And for those reasons, the price is hiked up to that figure in order to make sense for both the developer and the distributor of the aircraft. It's really nice. I think we're going through some clouds here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the engine anti-ice, Sarang anti-ice. No, we don't need alcohol. Tail auto. There we go. Right, so I've just turned on the anti-icing. Let's see what this is, the annunciator. All right, annunciator says nothing. All right, just to make sure that, we don't get into a situation where, all right, let us see. Tail de-ice, right, okay. Then, okay, so very good. All right, so this is actually a very short flight. And if we look at Navigraph charts, so let me go here and remove that. Let's take a look here. All right, so we're right here. And according to Navigraph, we're about 74 nautical miles from the destination. The platform altitude is 2,900. So we're going to let's say 3, 4, 11, 22, 30. So about 40 nautical miles, we can begin the descent to Glasgow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set things up for our arrival now. All right, so first thing we need the, let's see here. Let's get the landing elevation. The landing elevation is 200. So let's set that here, 200. All right, so decision height right there, DH is 200. And we're going to set the ILS frequencies as well. So those are, let's remove that from the screen. Let's go right here. So 110.10, which is already set here. 110.10 is done. Excellent. And that's pretty much it. Now for the landing, our speeds are going to be about 100 knots for approach. Yeah, VREF is 100. Sorry, 105 BREF, 100 knots for the approach. All right, everything's looking good. And we are... why is this ignition? Thought we turned those off. Ah, the ignition is automatically on because we have the anti-ice. Wow. Again, this is very well done, I have to say. And normally this is, yeah, in the Airbus, for example, when you turn the engine anti-ice, you have to turn on the ignition switch as well, which is pretty cool. All right. Looks like we're not going to be able to enjoy much of the Orbx scenery here. But this is definitely a very nice scene here. We can see the turbulence. X-Plane is just really becoming fantastic. This is, by the way, the latest Beta 5. We can come down here and range. There we go. There we go. I think that's better. That way, at least we can see what's going on. All right, perfect. Cabin is really nice as well. Pretty cool, huh? I will give you a wave as you go over the Campsie Hills. Is it? Yes, we are heading over to Glasgow. That's correct, yes. My home... Oh, is it your home airport, Flying Scotsman? Oh, cool. I was actually looking over some of your videos the other day. By the way, folks, the Flying Scotsman is a fellow content creator. He is an X-Plane fanatic. So please do visit his channel and give the guy a few hundred likes and subscribes. He deserves it. I think he's one of the known personalities in the X-Plane world. Drushal, if you can put in the link to the Flying Scotsman channel, I would be very, very grateful. All right, so we are actually getting pretty close to our destination. Again, this is, as I've said, this is a short flight for... all right, let's remove that. Okay, so this is a short flight. Let me move this as well. And let's take a look at where we are. We are right there at Haven, Tango Lima Alpha at Lanark. What we'll do is we will basically fly direct to the center fix for runway 23. So if we go to the charts, this is runway 23. So here is the center fix right there. So after Lanark, we will simply fly direct to the center fix. We're going to make a left turn to intercept the localizer and land the plane. The platform altitude is 2,900 feet. There's a lot of clouds here at this altitude. I'm not sure why we've received this altitude today, but that's the Simbrief flight plan. That's what it said. So we'll begin shortly the descent actually we can begin the descent now. So to begin the descent, we are going to come here to the alt selector. Again, let me bring this up so you guys can follow along. We're going to set the altitude to 2,900 feet, which is our platform altitude today for the flight. 2,900 is now set. Perfect. Now, the easiest way, you can definitely use vertical speed, or you can use IAS and retard the throttles, and the aircraft will begin the descent as it needs to compensate for the speed. So it will pitch down in order to gain speed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on IAS, and I'm going to retard the throttles a little bit here. And we want to get about 1,500 feet per minute right now. It's 2,000. It will adjust itself a little bit. So yeah. So if that's a little too much, maybe let's just add a little power to adjust it. Maybe 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet per minute should be sufficient. There we go. And if you look here at Navigraph charts, it's giving us 1,077. So 1,000 feet per minute it should be sufficient. So let me increase throttle here a little bit. We don't want to be descending too fast. So there we go, and it's probably more comfortable for our passengers as well. So there we go, about 1,000 feet per minute. There we go, and we can come down here to the descent and play.
We're beginning our descent. Turn your seatbelts fastened. Stow any loose items. Make sure your seat is in the upright position. We'll be landing shortly. Appreciate your cooperation.
All right, the descent checklist. Defog system as required. The pressurization is set. NTI systems are currently on. The throttles are required. The altimeters will set the transition altitude once we are at 6,000 feet. Landing data is confirmed. Landing or recognition lights are as required. So we will turn on the lights a little later. It looks like there is some turbulence here, and this is actually a good it's good that we have these conditions. I've been flying in the UK lately just for that, for the bad weather. I think a lot of you guys were saying, why don't you take X-Plane in some crazy weather? So this is what we're doing today. We're flying into some really bad weather here. All right, we're getting close to our destination, so I'm going to ease off on the throttles here to try and obtain about 1,000 feet per minute. There we go. It's trying to get dark, so we can turn on night light and bring some lights to our instruments. There we go. Excellent. Right, we're approaching 10,000 feet. Landing lights on. And passenger safety is on. We are approximately 18 nautical miles from Lanark, which is the end or the beginning of the final leg to the airport, to Glasgow. Yeah, terrible weather here in the UK. A local legend. His videos did help me making my decision on the flight factor 777, seeing how in depth it is, and they helped Laminar identify a memory leak in an X-Plane beta. Yes, the Flying Scotsman is a very well-regarded content creator, and is a true addition to. He's an asset to the community, just like our very good friend and moderator here, Drashal, is. Again, please do check his channel out. Drashal, feel free, my friend, to post a link to your channel in chat. Little Gusty, yes. So, very quickly, guys, let's take a quick look at... No, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me just remove this altogether. We're going to go to the weather. And as you can see here, we have terrible weather at our arrival airport. We have some rain. We have some overcast conditions. So it's going to make the landing pretty fun. All right, altimeter is 1002. Okay. All right, I'm going to retard the throttles here a little bit to increase our rate of descent. And you'll notice that when we reach the transition altitude, the standard barrel will automatically... You see that this button has already come down, so that you can, once you turn the knob, it will automatically change the altimeter. Decision height is already set to 200, and we continue the descent now. Looking good. Still overcast conditions, so I'm going to leave the anti-icing equipment on at this point. I'm actually streaming this aircraft in about 2 hours. Oh, how cool. I thought I was a sub to you, Drish, but clearly not. Have, of course, been checking out your videos over time. For Ortho for XP, the Magnite 787, which is a disaster of an aircraft. a true disaster. Even after all this time, they still, ship an aircraft that doesn't work. All right, 6,000. Let's set the Barrow 1002. Right, 1002 is set. Wow, those clouds, though, they look really nice, don't they? Look at that, guys. Oof. Some thunderstorms there, huh? All right. All right, we are 3 knots. So at exactly Lanark, so if you look here over at, you see this is Lanark. So from Lanark, we're going to fly to this center fix there. So we are going to go to our flight plan, and we're going to change the, we're going to fly direct. So if we click here to, let me just bring this up here so you guys can follow. There, so, yeah, there we go. So this is the center fix right here. So from Lanark, we're going to fly direct to that center fix. So let me just move this from the way here. And we're going to bring up the INS. And we're going to go to flight plan. Where is it? There we go, flight plan. So this is Lanark. We're going to go to the center fix. So direct to, and we are going to go next. And we're going to select number 10, which is the center fix. So 10. And enter. All right. And the aircraft now will turn towards the center fix. There you go. That's the center fix that we're flying to. And then we're going to make the turn towards the Glasgow. Beautiful evening approach here, or near evening approach. I think the lights are on in some of the cities and some of the streets. We can see that. And we're almost there now, folks. Map range. Everything is set up. All right. Now, for the approach, let's go ahead and quickly the approach checklist. Seat belts, and shoulder harness are secure. Avionics and flight instruments are checked. Radar altimeter is set. This is the radar altimeter set. The passenger seats are checked, full upright. Crew briefing is complete. Fuel transfer is off. Right there. Engine synchronizer off. Right, engine synchronizer is off. Anti-skid switch check on. It is checked on. Landing lights are on. Annunciator panel is checked. And pressurization check. Destination pressure elevation plus 200. That's already done. And that the difference is 0. So that's done. And flaps for takeoff and approach. Okay. So we are pretty much ready here. We are at 2,800, 2,900. We're going to watch our speed here. We'll let the aircraft decelerate a little bit. Oh, this is just really beautiful. Look at that, guys. Wow. Just absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful arrival here into Glasgow. And the weather is making it just a tad more interesting. Now, the only thing remaining for us to do is we're going to switch to nav, and then we're going to click here on approach, and then we're good. Through Earth is just amazing. Yes, it is. Yeah, the Flying Scotsman. It's definitely looking very, very nice. Without a doubt. All right, let's watch our speed here. You know, those Thrustmaster throttles, I'm thinking of getting my my previous throttles. They're just really not been behaving lately. Look at orbit through Earth, ladies and gents. All right. Here's what I'll do now. I am going to come here and we are going to, let's see, this is the heading bug. Let me bring this up here so we can see what we're doing. And the heading bug is set to 335. Okay. And we are going to go to heading mode. So we're going to select heading. And we're going to select nav. There we go. Excellent. And we are going to go to approach. There we go. All right. Now, if you look over here, you'll see that we're heading to the center fix. So on that heading. And once we arrive there, the aircraft will automatically turn towards the airport. Speed is good, about 170. 180 is still good. We should make the turn momentarily. We can see the glide slope and localizer both active in the display. That turbulence, though. Right, here's the turn. All right, let's ease off on the power here a little bit. All right, let me use the heading knob here real quick. All right, there we go. All right. What is the approach course real quick? 228. Right, let's remove that. Right, 140, looking good. About 150 knots. Just really, the sounds on the aircraft are exceptional. Right, we can see the needle here, and the aircraft now is turning towards the runway. The glide slope is active, and we're going to begin reducing speed now, and we've begun the descent as well. Right, lining up. And we can see the runway right in the distance there. Right, let's begin reducing our speed. You can see the localizer needle moving towards the center as the aircraft makes small corrections. Right, we're going to need the ignitions on. And we're going to turn off the engine anti-ice. All right. Let's retard the throttles here until we just got a little bit carried away with the speed. We can extend the speed brake here. Right, just slow the aircraft down a little bit. Let's go ahead and lower the landing gear. That will help us reduce the speed a little bit. All right. We're looking good. There's definitely some crosswind there. Let's set our view here so we can see what's going on. And let's see here. Laps. All right, that's better. Definitely some crosswind there. All right, that's our VREF speed. If I can keep my throttles at the right position. Looking good. Beautiful approach into Glasgow. And let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. Let me bring the yoke back. Autopilot disengaged. My aircraft. Definitely some crosswind there. Bit too low. Just a little bit of rudder there to correct our... Wow, really strong wind. I noticed that you don't hear the 50, 40, 30... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Glasgow. All right.
Welcome aboard this CitationJet. We're delighted to have you with us on our flight.
No, that's not the one.
Welcome to your destination. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until we've come to a complete...
Well, the weather was pretty bad, wasn't it? Thank you, Rishal. Appreciate it.
Fly with us. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Flying Scotsman and Rishal. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Right, let's take a quick look at the replay. And then, of course, we have to continue with the entire checklist to shut down the aircraft. But you cannot, you know, fly this aircraft and do the landing here without taking a look at the replay. So let's do that. Let's bring it, guys. The Orbx True Earth. I wish they would just create, you know, True Earth for all of X-Plane. All right, here we go. Look at that crosswind, guys. Wow. There, you can see it better here. Look at that. One of the nicest thing in X-Plane is the replay system. We'll do a few replays, but this is just really, really cool. Definitely lots of crosswind there. Look at that. You have got to love X-Plane. All right, let's do it one more time. Let's bring it back. Did we float a little bit? Maybe we did. I don't know. Here's another look. And one more time. We'll do it with the flyby camera. How about that, guys? That was pretty cool. By the way, one thing that I forgot to do, when we were on the ground, we should have actually deployed the ground flaps here. That is something we haven't done. So that actually deploys the speed brakes right there. So That is something we didn't do, so that's something we should have done. But yeah. Right, let's retract the flaps. And we can exit here. Right, slow the aircraft down. We can go to taxi. So taxi lights are on. And we can turn off the anti-collision light or the strobes. All right, so landing checklist. We can also put these on normal. The ignition switches. And yaw damper and autopilot are already off. Right, flaps are up, ignition normal, pitot switch, pitot static heat switch is off. Landing anti-collision lights are off, anti-ice, engine defog systems as required, transponder off or standby. So we can come here and change that to off or standby. We'll just go ahead and turn them off. There we go. I thoroughly enjoyed this aircraft. I tell you, flying this aircraft is a lot of fun. And if you really like this aircraft, I can definitely recommend. I can recommend it from the perspective that you'll definitely enjoy it. So if you can afford, the $85 and take the hit, by all means, you will enjoy the aircraft. We'll just park somewhere here and I'll give you my final remarks. All right, let's see. Transponder, radar. All right, the rest is for shutdown, so we're good here until we park the aircraft. The clouds are definitely starting to look really, really good. Look at the wet surface here, the surface refraction. I mean, this is really immersive, guys. You have got to love X-Plane, guys. It is just really becoming, very high, even in terms of graphics. I really don't mind. It doesn't really matter when you're flying, but if you have Orbix True Earth, that's wow. That's like the best thing that you can have, aside from Auto Ortho or Ortho 4XP. It's just so very well done by the Orbix team. All right, we can bring the aircraft to a stop here. That was really an enjoyable flight. All right, and we're going to set the parking brake. Parking brake is set, and let's begin with the shutdown checklist. Parking brake is set, defog fan is off, air conditioning is off. Flaps are retracted. The standby gyro switch is off, which it is now. No, that's the gyro switch. All right, so that one, no, that one stays off. Okay. The passenger advisory switch is off, which it is. The exterior lights, so we're going to turn off all the exterior lights, which they are off at this point. We're going to put the pressure system off as well. The throttles. Now we can turn the engines off. Right, engines are now off. Flashing beacon light goes to the off position. Control lock is set, and we are now done. The only thing remaining is turning off. So let's do the gens. Gens go to the off position. And by the way, there's one thing that I did not do properly, which is when you are on the approach, the oxygen control valve should be on crew only. So that's something we've missed today. So yeah, that's so we'll put this back there, and now we'll put this Yeah, this is everything here is good. And finally, we can turn off the battery switch off. Excellent. So the shutdown checklist is now complete, and the aircraft is back to cold and dark state. All right. We can now go to the door here and let our passengers out. So again, to do this, you just click here, and now you see the green light there illuminating means that we can now open the door, and we can deploy the stairs. And there you have it, ladies and gents. The CitationJet 525 by TorqueSim. I hope that you found this to be an enjoyable flight. And yeah, look at just really beautiful aircraft. Well, my concluding remarks on the CitationJet 525 by TorqueSim is that it is without a doubt a high fidelity representation of the CitationJet, by far the very best representation of a citation jet for flight simulation. The depth of system simulation is without a doubt paramount, and the texturing, the 3D modeling is done to a very high standard. Definitely an authentic replica of the aircraft. However, that said, I felt that the documentation of the aircraft was lacking. The aircraft has still a number of things that are work in progress, including the weather, the wear and tear of the aircraft, as well as a performance calculator, which I think is a must to manage the aircraft. I was not able to change the settings in the weight and balance screen to metric units to fly here in the UK. So that is another thing that I hope the developers would work on in the days to come. Potentially, this aircraft has really the potential to becoming one of the very best. It is one of the very best aircraft. Just my only problem is it does not have a proper EFB. It does not have a failures module, for example. Yes, I mean, you do have all the circuit breakers modeled, and that is something I do appreciate for those of you who like the extra challenge. But having a failures module is essential, along with the managing the weight and balance is something is desperately needs. And I personally don't think that the aircraft should have been released without the with the weight and balance and the performance calculators in place. The price point of the aircraft is extremely expensive. I feel that an aircraft in this shape and form and in the state that it was shipped in, I think that the justifiable price would be around $65. That is my, of course, personal opinion. I know that the price is always a very sensitive subject, especially for the developers. I do want to say that I do love the work by TorqueSim. I have been a great fan of their work. The Pocket Rocket and the Cirrus SR-22, SR-20 Integra, as well as their BN-2 Islander, are all excellent aircraft. This is a new addition, and this is actually something that makes X-Plane extra special. The amount of business jets in X-Plane with the addition of the CitationJet really makes X-Plane a very attractive platform for serious flight simmers. Those are my concluding remarks. If you are asking me to rate the aircraft in its current state, I will rate it an 8 out of 10. And of course, I'm deducting 2 points for the reasons that I've mentioned, mainly to do with the price of the aircraft and not having some of the essential parts that we are now accustomed to as a standard when you are charging a premium fee like that for an add-on. Those are my concluding remarks. I hope that I was able to deliver an honest and unbiased review like I normally do. And I want to thank you very much, guys, for being here this evening with me. I definitely enjoyed being with you. And until then, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Stay safe. Bye-bye for now.